On this episode of the Comic Blast podcast, we celebrate our 1-year anniversary. We're going to announce a giveaway for you guys in this episode. We're also going to talk a little bit about Falcon and the Winter Soldier and the rest of the Super Bowl spots that aired over the weekend. And then we're going to get into some reactions for Birds of Prey. All of that coming up next.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out? Consider this mercy. I am inevitable.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Comic Blast podcast. Today is a very special day because it is the 1-year anniversary of Comic Blast. I am one of your hosts, Grayson, and this, of course,
Keenan.
What's up, man?
This is really cool because it's our 1-year anniversary of doing the podcast. We posted our first episode on the 4th. We're recording this episode on the 4th.
Yes.
So it's literally 1 year since we started doing this.
That's so weird.
Kind of flew by when you think about it.
Yeah, this past year has been pretty quick.
Yeah.
We took a picture before this, and I'm gonna post it later. I'm sure you guys will see it. I'll probably post it on either my personal or the Comic Blast one. Either way, and it's just like we're in a much different place than where we had started out with, and with much better equipment. I think a lot better knowledge, a whole lot more viewers.
A lot better looking.
Yeah, what can I say? We're just handsome people, you know. We've evolved.
Yeah. You know, it's crazy. The first episode that we ever did, we were talking about Super Bowl spots, and we were also talking about the Harley Quinn movie because that like test footage came out for the costumes.
Oh,
it was like our first episode. Now today we're going to talk about the reactions to the movie.
Same thing.
Pretty wild.
Super Bowl spots and the whole thing with Birds of Prey. It all comes
Deja
full
vu.
circle.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Well, we just want to thank you guys. I mean, you guys have kind of kept us afloat. And last week we had probably our biggest episode that we've ever recorded.
Yeah, I'm actually blown away.
Yeah.
Like Keenan, so if you don't know, Keenan does more of the technical side of things with editing and keeping track of like statistics and stuff.
Yeah.
Don't let him fool you. He does a lot of the heavy lifting. But he's just humble. That's his inner Peter Parker. But yeah, he'll text me and be like, dude, like this episode is insanely good with views and stuff like that. And it's just like, it blows me away. So yes, thank you to everyone, any new listeners, any longtime listeners. We appreciate you. And I'm hoping the next year will be even better.
You know, it'd be cool. We're going to get into all the topics because we actually do have a lot of stuff to talk about. Really quickly, I think it'd be cool to kind of tell people like our story really quickly.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people who don't really know.
So I posted like a quiz on Instagram. And I asked people just to see how well people know us. And I'm sure we've had a lot of new listeners since we started the show.
Mm-hmm.
But so I asked people on Instagram how we met. And a lot of people actually got it wrong. So it's a pretty wild story that I just love telling people any chance that I get to. So
it's like an entire like weird rabbit hole of events that like don't really like. It's almost like some kind of butterfly effect thing where it's like one small event like kind of flourish into some other stuff.
It's weird. Like I'm looking at you right now and I'm like, I really shouldn't be here. Like it's like a movie the way that things worked out. Kind of just makes it feel like we were just meant to really do this. But so back in 2017, I went to my first Star Wars celebration.
Mine as well.
Your first.
Yeah.
And we actually had a mutual friend at the time. Trey, if you're listening.
Yeah.
Trey's our mutual friend. And you approached Trey. I didn't know you at the time, but you approached Trey. And Trey didn't even recognize you because I think you had like a Spider-Man picture or something like that on your Twitter account.
Maybe. So, I don't know. I thought he knew what I looked like. But I think it was literally such a dense crowd that I had to like go through and like tap him on the shoulder and be like, yo, what's up? It's
Yeah.
me. Because I had been texting him back and forth. I guess you guys had been in one big group, and he was texting me about like how the lines were and everything. And I remember like, and that's a whole other beast of a thing. But yeah, he was texting me about all that, and I came up and I tapped him on the shoulder. And it was you and somebody else.
Yeah, it's like me and Zach, probably
Okay.
one of my friends. Yeah, so it's me, Zach, and Trey, and we're just kind of walking around, and and then I see that Trey stopped and he's talking to someone, and like you were with your friends, and we just like I didn't know you, so I was just like quick hey, whatever, and then I never heard from you for like months.
It was
May,
a month to 2 months.
Yeah, it was like May.
Yeah.
Guardians 2 came out. We both went to go see that movie, Guardians 2.
Together, but not together.
Exactly. I actually went by myself that day.
Yeah.
And we were sitting in the movie theater, and there's a bad storm that day.
Yeah. So for some clarification, in between that time jump, so Celebration was in April, about early April, say like the 13-ish.
Yeah.
And then Guardians of the Galaxy 2 was roughly May, like middle of May, early May. And I did not follow you on Twitter at the time of when we had met, but because I had seen you, I was like, all right, I'm going to follow him. And then I
didn't even know you followed me. Yeah, I didn't know.
Really?
Yeah, I had no idea. So
Well,
that's why I was like kind of shocked. So
yeah, so I followed him, and then like, keep on going with the story.
We're sitting in the movie, or I'm sitting in the movie. This from my perspective.
Yeah,
and I remember it was a really stormy day, and the storm got really bad, and the power actually went off in my theater.
Yeah.
So I was just like, this is hilarious. I'm like, this would happen. So immediately, just because I'm always on social media, I go to Twitter just to say, I'm like, power just went out during my screening.
This was like the showing before the day it came out, like the typical
Thursday.
like 7:30 showing on.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I didn't really check my phone until after the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was like I was probably on my way home or something like that. And then you messaged me and you're like, I think you were in my theater.
Yeah.
And I was just like, who is this guy? Like, I did not know that was you. So I'm just like, I'm like, somebody's just trying to mess with me. Then we kind of come to find out that you were going to a school that was about 15 minutes from where I lived.
That next semester I started going to college, like right next to where you lived. I don't go there now. I go to a different school, but still not too far away. So from my perspective of that whole thing, so here's what happened with me is when I sat down in the theater before the movie had even started, like we're on the same row. We literally were on the same row. Yes, you were on the.
I had no idea.
You were okay. So we were in like maybe the third from the top row. I would say maybe fourth. It was high up.
Right.
You were at the very end of the right, and it was me, my dad, and one of my other good friends, Jesse, and we were like maybe 5 to 7 seats down from you.
Okay.
And when you sat down, I looked over and I was like, that guy looks so familiar. I'm like,
we didn't know we lived near each other at all.
No, not at all. And I was like, that guy looks like Keenan, like on Twitter. And I was like, that's weird. And I remember, and I saw you tweet, you're like, I'm sitting down for Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and I'm like, is that him? Is that actually him? And I was like, no.
In your head, were you like, there's no way that could possibly
I was
be
like,
him.
this just has to be a coincidence. This guy just looks like him.
Yeah.
And then when the power goes out and I check Twitter, I open up my phone and you're like, the power, and I'm like, nope, that's him. I'm like, there's no way that's just a coincidence. And I was like, I responded to your tweet and I'm like, dude, I'm in your theater. And and you were like, what? You DM me? You were like, you serious? And I remember Trey commented and he's like, what the heck?
Yeah, he's like, what's going on?
I was so confused. And then I remember like we were gonna meet up after the movie, but you had already gone and left home, and I was like, oh, like what? We're already out. It's cool.
Yeah.
And so then after that we had just kind of stayed in contact with one another.
Yeah.
Like you followed me on Twitter and everything like that, and we had seen the next couple of MCU movies together. We saw
like Spider-Man.
We saw Homecoming together. Yeah. That was in July. We also saw Ragnarok.
Justice League, I think, was that year.
We did see Justice League. Oh God, man. Ugh. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
We saw Black Panther together the next year.
Yeah. Infinity War.
And then me and you, we saw Infinity War together. And so like at that point, like we were we pretty much the only times we saw each other was either when we would bump into each other in Anderson or just going to see movies and like talking through Twitter and stuff. But like we had always kind of talked about us doing like I remember you were into YouTube the whole thing, and I was like that'd be kind of cool, and you wanted to do a podcast.
I really wanted to so badly.
Yeah, and I remember I was like, man, that'd be really cool. And so like we started talking, and I was like, so before this version of Comic Blast existed, there was another Comic Blast.
Yeah, it was like my own little thing.
It was your own thing. You would bring in guest speakers with everything.
Yeah.
And that didn't really pan out as well.
Nope.
And you were always talking about like, yeah, like I'd love to have you as a guest or whatever. So then when we inevitably rebooted it a year ago, but like a little bit before that, you were like, dude, I would be down with you to be like my permanent co-host if we found a place to record and stuff. At the time I lived at someplace different, and it was a lot further away and stuff. I was like, we'll have to figure it out. But then I moved, and it ended up working out to where we're at now. Which it's still a little bit further away, but I mean we've made it work for the past year. Over 40 episodes we've recorded. It's
insane.
Which is actually pretty good considering there's 56 weeks in a year. I think. Oh yeah, 52. Yeah, that means math is hard. That means I think we've done 43 episodes.
Yeah, we missed a few here and there, but
I mean that's still pretty good.
Yeah.
And so so then we like started doing this, and now
here we are.
And it's like, and it doesn't feel like, it's weird that like, I mean, in about 2 months will have been 3 years ago since that like initial spark.
What the heck, man?
And we were a lot different back then, let me tell you.
I know. I was excited for The Last Jedi back then. It's insane. Like I said, it's when I tell people about it, they're like stunned. Because like I'll talk about the podcast to people maybe I'm working with. Did you spill coffee on yourself?
I just spilled coffee on myself. I'm drinking and I just have
your facial expression changed so much.
Anyway, sorry I derailed. Go ahead.
You're good. So yeah, I'll tell people that I know about the podcast, and they'll ask about who I do it with, and then I tell them our story, and it's just like it's straight out of a movie. Like it doesn't make sense.
It's a fairy tale.
Yeah, but it worked out. It's awesome. I'm so happy we get to do this, and really happy that people are enjoying it, and it's really taking off. So yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah. So we have actually a lot of stuff to talk about this
we're gonna
week.
fly through this stuff.
Yeah. So housekeeping stuff, since we got through that entire story, but it was a worthwhile story. So if you haven't kept up with our social medias, we have merch now, which is pretty cool. We have some hoodies and some t-shirts. And how can we get those, or how can people get those, Keenan?
Yeah, if you click the link from wherever you're listening, or if you go to our social media, there's a little link on there. It'll take you to our Teespring store, and we made them as cheap as possible. So essentially, we're not making really any money off of it. We just wanted people to have it if they wanted it.
It's just for people to represent it and stuff like that. So there's two hoodies, 2 shirts. So people have already bought some.
Yeah.
What was it? I think 4.
We've sold 4 hoodies and 1 shirt so far.
Yeah, which is pretty insane.
I don't
didn't think
like
people
it doesn't show me who purchased them.
Yeah.
So I just want to say thank you if you did.
Yeah, and if you did and you haven't already, please either send a pic of when you get it or let us know that you got it, and we'll retweet it or repost it or something like that, whether Instagram or Twitter. So yeah, that's there if you guys are interested. Other thing is because of the 1 year anniversary. Oh man, English is hard. It's been a rough week.
No, it hasn't. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's true. So we're doing a giveaway. So we've been throwing out codes all out for the day. So anybody who has gotten them, congratulations.
Movie codes.
Yes, movie codes for digital versions. But we are doing a physical giveaway. And we have decided it will be for the Rise of Skywalker Steelbook, which is not out yet, but when it does come out, if you win the giveaway, you will get a nice shiny copy of the 4K of Rise of Skywalker. I mean, we're going to get our own.
The Steelbook looks awesome.
I was looking at it the other day, and God, it looks so good.
Yeah.
The front of it has Kylo Ren in his mask, and then the rear side of it has Rey, and it's them fighting like on the Death Star. It doesn't really make sense because he's definitely not wearing his mask in the movie or anything like that, but it just looks cool.
Yep.
So yeah, how are we going to do that giveaway exactly?
If you're listening right now, just send us a screenshot of you being subscribed to the podcast either through Apple or follow the podcast on Spotify. do either of those, send us a screenshot, and then we'll throw you in kind of like a pool of names.
Sick.
That's it.
Yeah. So whenever that comes out, whoever wins, congratulations.
Yeah.
But that'll be a little bit. So yeah, that'll be our big giveaway. And then lastly for housekeeping is just Patreon, of course, as usual. Yeah. What is it? Patreon.com/comicblastofficial. As always, we have our 2 patrons on there. We have our sponsor, Jess,
yes.
Our loyal and faithful follower, as always, and then Joseph, who is also another patron, and both of them have been there from the beginning. So we love you both. Thank you. I don't know why I'm waving out there like there's people, like there's a camera.
It looks like you think there's an audience out there.
Recorded in a live studio audience with nobody.
Insert clapping noise.
Oh, you should do that. Please do that.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait. You want me to do it?
Yes.
Okay. In 3, 2, 1. That was great, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Okay. So if you were listening 2 to 3 weeks ago, maybe, we had introduced some new segments, and those kind of fluctuate because some weeks are just slower than others or whatever, or Keenan will get busy. But because I did the show notes this week because I'm awesome, I decided to do another addition to Guess the Comic Book Movie, which is such an original title, I know.
How'd you come up with that?
Dude, it just came to me in a dream. So yeah, he has done this on me before, but I've not done this to him.
No.
So
I'm excited.
So yeah, it's just one movie. I don't have like 3 or 4, but it's just one.
Okay.
Just so because we have a lot today. So, are you ready for the first hint?
Ready.
The lead actor has played multiple comic book movies in at least 3 separate franchises.
Okay.
Giving you some ideas?
Yeah.
All right. I have 4 hints, by the way. So,
okay.
All right. Second one. Never got a sequel and is universally hated by fans and critics.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. This one should be the giveaway.
Oh, if it is, can I just go ahead and guess then?
Sure.
Is it like really an easy clue that's going to...
The third... It depends on your actor knowledge, I suppose. I mean, you can get another shot, but I'm curious what you think now. I wanted to see if you get it.
Go ahead, give me the clue.
Okay.
I don't want to fail.
The lead is married to the character's love interest in this film. Like, so the actual actor is married to the actress who played his love interest.
Green Lantern.
Yes. Yep.
I was like, I couldn't think of her name.
Yeah,
Blake
Lively. Yep.
Okay.
The last clue was shown very briefly in a CW show. There was a clip of Green Lantern that was in Crisis on Infinite Earths, I think. So yeah,
I had it after the second clue.
I wanted you to guess it. I wanted you to be bold, but I would have given you another shot.
I know, I was a wimp.
All right, yeah, Green Lantern. I don't know why that was the movie that thought, but I was like, oh, Ryan Reynolds has been like, because okay, for the record, Ryan Reynolds. So he has played Green Lantern. He's played Deadpool in X-Men Origins Wolverine, and then the Deadpool movies. He was also in Blade 2, right? Or was it Blade 3?
Was he?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
When you said 3 separate franchises, I was thinking of X-Men, Deadpool, and like I separated those.
Yeah, I consider X-Men and
Blade?
Deadpool together. Yeah, he was in, not the first Blade, but I believe he was in Blade 2 as this like annoying chatterbox guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is why we do things like this. You learn something new.
Yeah, like how Man of Steel made like $656 million or something like that. Yeah.
Sad.
It makes me really sad. That's a great movie. Okay.
You know what? Captain Marvel like doubled that number.
What is
That's
wrong
insane.
with you all? I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. Well, it's because it's Marvel. And also, that was a weird time. 2013. Well, I mean, we had the MCU, but we also... Interesting time. 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a lot of headlines this week. So yeah, let's get into the first one. Super Bowl was 2 days ago.
Yes.
Yeah. Super Bowl 2 days ago. I don't know. It's been a blur. My eye's twitching. Okay.
Probably from the flash from that camera from earlier.
Oh yeah. My sister took a picture and my eyes. Oh God, now I can see it. I can see the light
orb?
again. I can see the orb.
Dude, I'm not used like growing up, I was used to flash photography because of the Polaroid pictures.
Yeah.
And then she took a picture with that Polaroid camera, and like my eyes haven't been the same since then. Because I'm just like, I am so like, it shocked me. It actually scared me. I was like, did the camera just blow up? Like, and I was like, oh yeah, that happens.
Dude, you were like, you were mesmerized.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Okay. So the first big thing, Super Bowl stuff.
I am a child. All right, go ahead.
So the Disney Plus, well, the Marvel spots in general, but the biggest one is the Disney Plus spot. You okay?
Yeah.
What's up?
I'm thinking about the camera still.
Dude,
Sorry.
he has the most maniacal eyes I've seen in my life.
All right.
He's like,
I was
just
trying to hold
staring.
in my laugh. Okay, go ahead.
yeah, Disney Plus, Marvel, what we think. Kenan.
Disney Plus. Oh yeah. Okay, so they clipped together a little montage, 30
Yeah.
seconds of
Dope
Vision,
montage.
Vision stuff. Captain America.
Nope. Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I'm struggling right now.
It was Falcon and Winter
Captain
Soldier.
Planet and the other guy. No, just kidding.
Tarzan.
Okay.
No, Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yes.
Wandavision, still such a dumb name. Anyway, I digress.
I hate the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I just wish it was Falcon and the Winter Soldier. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I'm the Falcon.
Why? All right,
I don't know.
Go ahead.
And then
Sorry.
Loki, which was very brief. So let's go in order of operations. Let's go with it leads with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Okay.
Even though I just call it Falcon and Winter Soldier. This series looks dope.
Yeah, this is the most excited I've been for anything in terms of Disney Plus MCU stuff.
Yeah,
and
dude.
Getting to see, it's crazy because like I would have liked to see like each of them get their own little 30 seconds.
That would be cool.
Or maybe if they had, for the Super Bowl ad, I know they pay like $5 million for 30 seconds. Instead, make that clip of all three of those and then say like online, see a teaser for each of them or something like that.
Like an extended cut.
Yeah,
thing.
like a minute teaser for each
Well,
of
I
them.
think it's because there's such little footage for the last two, for WandaVision
That's
and
true.
for Loki. I mean, Loki is like barely into shooting.
Then they could have definitely given us more of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah. Dude, I don't know why it's like, okay, so like when I watched it, I got like a lot of different vibes from it.
Yeah.
So you definitely get some like Winter Soldier vibes from it because like Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
I felt like more Civil War.
Yeah, well, obviously, yeah, because of Zemo and stuff like that. Also, the whole like I don't know why, but what is it? U.S. agent running out onto the football field.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why.
Knight.
But, like, yeah, that's
Or
what I was
Dark Knight
thinking. Like Dark
Rises.
Knight Rises. Like,
That's what I felt.
or I think there was also like I remember a cut thing in like Justice League or something when there was going to be football.
Yeah.
I don't know why it reminds me of that. And then also a little bit of Iron Man in the sense that like those skydivers and like Falcon flying through
Okay.
the canyon.
Yeah.
I'm like, that makes me think of, I don't know what's going on.
This show is going to be the best, I think, out of everything.
I hope
WandaVision,
so.
I'm not like it sounds intriguing, but it also is like this is weird.
Okay, WandaVision though has actually spiked a lot of interest for me because at first I'm like, oh, this isn't just some like goofy gag thing. Like this is like some weird, trippy, alternate reality thing. Like almost like Black Mirror meets Marvel.
True.
With like
That's good.
these weird like, or more like Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
I'm like,
that's
and
a
that-
good way of putting it.
And I'm like, I don't know what's going
I don't know,
on.
there's a shot in there, and I was like, "Oh, holy crap!" I'm like, I feel like I'm watching Home Improvement or something like that.
Yeah,
like
because like it goes from like all these different like versions.
yeah, different versions.
Like I mean, it's like 50s, then regular Wanda, then like this Halloween costume, X-Men style Wanda, and then like 70s Wanda, and then like 90s, and like it's like
I just
it's
want to
crazy.
understand. Like I want to be able to understand.
I
what
think
the
that
heck's
show's gonna
happening.
break our minds.
It probably.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like it's so strange.
I don't know. I'm just happy to see Vision back again because I love
Yeah.
Paul Bettany.
Dude, he's really good.
Yeah.
One
I'm
of the best
excited.
parts of Solo, by the way.
Definitely, yes.
I love him.
Definitely, they definitely teased the whole twins thing because there's like the two cribs.
I didn't
in
see
one of
that.
the shots. Oh, you didn't? Okay,
No,
so
no,
there's
no.
like a shot where there's two cribs, and I think they're each holding a pacifier. Wanda and Vision are.
Oh.
So it looks like they're gonna kind of explore that. I'm wondering because it seems like they're doing different time periods as well as different types of sitcom television shows.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if each episode may be like a different show. Like you have this one that's kind of styled like that Home Improvement or that Fresh Prince or whatever is going on.
Oh man,
it's insanity. Like I don't understand it. But
it's so like it's hard to comprehend.
Yeah. I'll give credit because like in a world where people complain about the Marvel formula being the same thing over and over and every movie is the same, they are really reaching for this one because like to take the risk of making something like this and hoping that your fan base understands what's going on, and also tying it into the the bigger scale of the MCU, like the films and stuff. That's a tough thing to do. So you kind of just got to give Kevin Feige credit with that one.
They literally just feel like movies. Like they feel like these like large scale movies. Because I'm looking at like the Falcon and Winter Soldier. I'm like, no, that looks like a movie.
Yeah. Oh, like, that one out of every one of them. Yes. Loki was nothing basically, but not that I'm not excited about it. I'm just saying like. Sorry, 14-year-old girls, but there was nothing in the nothing in the trailer for him.
Dude, I disagree.
Really? There's the whole jumpsuit thing. We can get into that. Like, what he's wearing.
I don't know. I don't know why, but his delivery. God, have I turned into one of the
I think
girls?
we talked about it last week or the week before that. We're just excited that Tom Hiddleston is doing something because. I mean, I love everyone in the MCU actor-wise. But I have such a deep appreciation for people who like go out of their way to study what's going on. Yeah. And like Tom Hiddleston and probably Benedict Cumberbatch is
they're like top tier.
Yeah, they're students of what's going on. So I appreciate them for the work and effort that they put in to the characters. So
I don't know. Like I guess it's Rachel again. She's rubbing off on me. Just kidding. Her real name is Caroline, by the way. She said it was okay. I said her name. So like as soon as that came out, I like sent it to her. I was like, oh my god! And it's like I don't know why, but just like hearing him say like I'm gonna burn to this place to the ground. I was like,
he's awesome.
I was like, oh. Loki.
When I say Loki's nothing, it's not that I'm not excited for. I'm just like they literally just showed 3 seconds of Loki. Like there's nothing.
I mean, it was enough to get me excited, but like it's. I would say my excitement lies currently Falcon and Winter Soldier #1, Loki #2, WandaVision #3. Not in the sense that like WandaVision looks bad, but in the sense that like I'm more intrigued with the plots of the first two, especially Falcon and Winter Soldier, because I mean, it has everything going for it. It has the characters that I love from the Captain America franchise, like the Captain America trilogy. You've got Zemo, which is one of my favorite villains. You've got Bucky, who used to be my favorite MCU character. Falcon, who I think is a fantastic character. You have Wyatt Russell playing U.S. Agent. I believe General Ross is supposed to be in it.
You're also like
Agent 13. Like all of these stuff.
You brought up Bucky. You're getting a brand new character in the MCU because.
He's been wiped. Like he has to. I mean, he really has not had a chance to restart. No. Like because what happened was Civil War, and then he went to cryo freeze, and then was in Wakanda. This is like him in the real world now. Because at the very end of Endgame, like that was like him coming back. Yeah. And he was still like the Winter Soldier. Like he's still neglected from society. Right. And now this is him like he has to reintegrate, and that's
tough.
That's really cool. Yeah. I've seen all these people these people saying like, oh, he doesn't want to hurt anyone, like because he has the gun pointed at Zemo, and then like the bullets fall out, and I'm like, no, I don't think that's what's going on. Like I'm pretty sure he wants to kill Zemo. Like I mean, he was essentially used by Zemo in Civil War. Yeah. Like. I'd be mad. I'd be pissed, especially if he broke out.
That could be like a whole part of the plot is just
like the personal vendetta.
Yeah, like where he's at mentally. Yeah. Should be interesting. I'm really like excited just to see like that whole banter between Sam and Bucky, like because they were really awesome in Civil War. Yeah. They're really funny.
I'm just excited to see the whole militaristic side of Marvel again, which is what I loved in Civil War. Or it may be the more of like just kind of like the espionage,
it's more grounded,
the subterfuge kind of. Yeah,
it's like realistic,
but not because it's people with superpowers and stuff like that. But like but it's still like assassins and saboteurs, and that's a Rogue One line.
I think that's like the Winter Soldier in it, and to like a lesser degree, Civil War. Really kind of grounded us back on Earth and dealt with more real world problems and not intergalactic problems. And that's something I feel like has just been missing for a little while. And that's totally fine because they decided to go with this like cosmic event and a cosmic villain and set up all that stuff. But now it's time to kind of like settle down. That's why I'm excited for Black Widow, and I'm excited for this film because it's just going to be.
Speaking of Black Widow, what did you think of that spot?
Yeah, it was cool. It was just very short and brief, but you know what? As more stuff comes out, I'm getting really excited for Florence Pugh's character, and if she turns out to be a strong character, in this film, I'm definitely hoping that we see more of her in the future.
The way Marvel runs, pretty much guaranteed.
You think so?
If there is a character that that fans adore, you will get more. They will find a way for you to get more of it. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think with, like, I'm trying to think of just other characters that work that way. I mean, the Falcon and Winter Soldier getting their own show speaks volumes.
Yeah.
Like that's, that something that probably 5 years ago you wouldn't you would not have expected. Been like no. Which I mean, it's not a movie, but it's still a show.
I remember getting excited seeing Falcon and Ant-Man.
Yeah, dude. Oh man,
good times.
Yeah. Oh man. I'm ready for some more Ant-Man stuff because I miss Paul Rudd.
Yeah,
Paul Rudd he's probably still one of my favorite parts of Endgame. Like I love that he's such a prominent character.
Oh yeah, he was a great character.
I love him.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Marvel loves to be like, all right, if this is a fan favorite, we are going to deliver.
Right.
Loki is probably the biggest testament to that. Like, oh, Loki died. Here's a show.
Because of this show, though, we can really get Loki for as long as we want now because he's not.
Yep.
Original Loki.
That's probably the one show that's going to get like a ton of seasons, most likely. I don't know, probably like 3 or 4.
So many people love that character, rightfully so.
Yeah, I mean, he's just when you have the goldmine that is Tom Hiddleston and the talent that is Tom Hiddleston and the just the great character that he has embodied since
2011, 10,
I think.
Is that when Thor came out?
Yeah, I think so. Then I mean, you have to utilize it,
Right.
It's just like Robert Downey Jr. with Iron Man. Like
Tom Hiddleston kind of seems like one of those guys who would be like, yeah, I'll do this for as long as I can.
Yeah. I think that's like him and like Tom Holland is Spider-Man. Like there's certain people that are like, yeah, I'll do this forever because I love it so much.
Right.
So that's exciting. But
so it looks like Loki is kind of like in some sort of prison jumpsuit.
Yeah, so it says what? Is it TVA Time Variance Authority?
Yeah. So these are essentially like this group who are trying to keep balance in like this space-time continuum kind of like
like
thing.
the timeline.
Yeah, they're like making sure nothing like gets messed up.
Yeah.
And he's traveling through different timelines now. So
that's exciting.
Yeah.
I don't know why I like that. Like I hope there's some cool characters associated with that. Well, let's go ahead and segue into the next thing. Owen Wilson cast in the Loki series. Do you think he's part of the Time Variance Authority?
So, let me say this real quick. Grayson spoke to it earlier in the show. We kind of came up with this new segment where we would talk about the most ridiculous headlines that we can find throughout the week. We haven't found any lately, but this one came out, and I was like, "Oh my god, I can't wait to put this in the series," because it's more like we kind of try to throw in like more fake news than actual real scoops in that segment. So I was like, I cannot wait to put this in the segment, and then I was like, oh. This is really happening.
This is real.
And so it's
wow.
Yeah.
I love how you like quoted the tweet and you just went, "Wow."
Yeah.
That was great. Yeah, it's probably one of the weirdest castings I've ever heard in my life.
Definitely.
I'm excited though.
It seems like a Taika Waititi type of thing to do.
Oh my god, yes. Like you could see, I could see that in like Thor 4 as Owen Wilson being in there. I haven't seen Owen Wilson in anything lately.
It's been a while.
What you up to, Owen? What you doing?
Yeah. What
Grown
is he
Ups
doing?
4. I'm just kidding. Grown Ups 3. I don't know.
In those?
Was he not in those?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that was David Spade.
You got me confused.
Sorry. So here was my train of thought. Owen Wilson, was he in a movie with like Paul Blart? What's his name? Kevin James. Was he in any movies with Kevin James?
I don't know. Maybe.
He had to have been.
I've kind of like steered away from comedies lately.
Yeah.
Like for the past 10 years, I probably haven't watched any comedies.
I don't know. Like I group Owen Wilson and like Adam Sandler and Kevin James and like Chris Rock all into one thing, and like
yeah, that's grown up.
maybe I'm thinking because of like Ben Stiller. I don't know. What is my train of thought going
I
to?
don't
Like
know.
I'm like associating all these characters with one another.
They're all mostly comedic actors. That's how.
I guess so. Like they're like that time of like early 2000s, late 90s
Sure.
comedians. You
Yeah.
know. But yeah, I'm really just curious, like, because we don't really know much about Loki other than him time traveling and stuff. I'm like, is he gonna just play some like character from a certain time period? Is he gonna play like someone in that time variance authority thing?
Yeah.
Is he gonna be an Asgardian? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, in different timelines, Asgard's fine.
Yeah. That's true.
It's crazy because of the snap incident. We're dealing with like characters being back to life that aren't the characters that, you know, like Gamora is still Gamora, but she's not that Gamora that everybody has known for the past few years. And the same
Still
thing
one
with
of the most
Loki, where
heartbreaking
like
things.
Loki and Thor kind of found a way to mend their relationship a little bit.
Yeah.
And now like that's not even close. Like now we're back to 2012 essentially.
This is anarchy Loki.
He's still trying to like take over Earth.
Yeah,
like,
this is like prime villain. Like, oh, I'm not like a good guy deep down. I'm like, well, I mean, part of him always still exists, but like this is him like when he's almost like, you know, at the heart of being his villain form.
Yeah, this is like the most sinister moments of his life. I think.
It was, you know, Thor 1 and Thor 2.
Yeah.
No, not Thor 2. Well, after Avengers, you know, he kind of reforms a little bit.
Yeah.
He still is a little bad, like, because they leave that open thread in the Dark World. It's like, oh, he's Odin. He's going to be, like, messing things up.
Right.
And then Ragnarok's like, nah, he was just, like, goofing off.
A joke.
I'm like, okay, well, fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. Which, I mean, it plays off funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just more and more intrigued by all these shows. And it makes me excited for the shows that come a lot later. I was talking right before the show, but one of my favorite movies is The Guest.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about like the lead actor in that movie is Dan Stevens, who is a very good actor.
Yeah.
And he was in the show Legion, that was like the X-Men show that they did for FX and everything. I never watched it, but I heard it was phenomenal. I need to watch it. But I was like, oh, I'd love to have him as Moon Knight or whatever. But either way, that's like what I'm talking about. It's like, oh, I'm so ready for like Moon Knight and She-Hulk and even like Miss Marvel and everything. Which
I forgot about
like
all
those.
these
You
things
forgot
coming
those.
out.
Yeah, like I mean, I think there's just so far out there. But I mean, like that's
There's
crazy that we're
content.
getting Blade and we're getting those
God,
and
dude,
like
I'm so excited
like
for Blade.
dude, I know, dude, Mahershala Ali as Blade is gonna be sick.
Yeah,
Oh man,
I'm really excited for that. Actually,
I think the only thing that can make me happier is like they get back like if they can get back the Defenders in some way in like in that form at least.
Yeah,
I really just want to see Luke Cage, Punisher, and Daredevil, because Luke Cage is one of my favorite characters from the comics. Is like he's just like, I always loved the way like how he's just so integrated with so many different characters.
Sure.
Because he's kind of like the local Harlem guy. Like he's Harlem's hero. And so like he interacts with a lot of people from New York.
right.
But then you've got Daredevil and stuff. Like
They got to bring those characters back somehow.
I just want Charlie Cox as Daredevil and what's his face as Punisher.
That's
John
that's
Bernthal.
like bare minimum. You got to get those.
I'm like,
two.
if you get those two, I will gladly accept that.
They got to find something to do with.
They can start up the entire franchise over and like reboot it and like ignore the shows or whatever. I want to rewatch Daredevil.
It's a great show.
It really is, man.
Yeah, they got to bring that back. I don't put it on Hulu or something. I don't know. Disney has something with Hulu, like they have some sort of partnership or something like that. So
Yeah, I don't know.
as much as I hate going on Hulu, I would do it for that show.
Yeah,
So
I don't know. I
What
feel like
else
they'd
we
have
got?
to reboot it at some point. They don't have to though, because it doesn't really like have any like huge parameters. Like
No.
if you just set it in the year 2012. Or you know, like the years between Winter Soldier and like
I would honestly
Avengers.
just keep it at where it was.
Yeah,
I wouldn't reboot it or anything. I'd just move it over to another network. I forgot
Yeah.
how that works. the contract works where they can't do anything for like a year or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Which it's
or
been
2 years. It's 2 years.
Yeah, because that was the rumors that like Daredevil might be like the lawyer for Spider-Man in the third Spider-Man movie.
It just blows my mind that Netflix canceled. Like they had all the leverage in this thing.
Those are like probably some of their biggest shows.
Yeah, it blows my mind that they would cancel it unless there was some sort of like behind closed doors negotiations between Marvel Studios or Disney and Netflix. I don't know. I don't understand why they would do that.
There had to be something else going on.
Because they had that. Like, as long as they keep making the shows, they're good.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't like the views weren't as high, shoot, like lessen the budget or something like that. Find a way to keep those shows. But
yeah, I don't know.
It's strange.
We're reopening a wound that I thought was healed.
Pouring some salt right in there.
I just forgot, and now I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we've gone through, actually, kind of went through a lot of stuff because there was a lot of things that like chained together. Let's keep it on Marvel one last time,
sure.
And then we'll switch to some DC and Star Wars stuff. So there is a rumor going around. It's not confirmed or not. But I get the feeling that it's probably true.
Me too.
And that is that Emily Blunt met with Marvel Studios for a role. So if you guys don't know, two major things. First thing is Emily Blunt was almost Black Widow back in the startup of the MCU.
Yep.
And then it was given to Scarlett Johansson. If you also don't know, Emily Blunt is married to John Krasinski. John Krasinski was almost Captain America.
Yes.
And it was given to Chris Evans.
Yeah.
So both of these people, they are married. They were both going to be in the MCU at some points and then are not. So
I'm trying not to like get too excited so that way I'm not disappointed.
Yeah.
But I mean, if this isn't for the Fantastic Four, I will burn Marvel Studios to the ground.
Like Loki, gonna burn it to the ground.
Yeah, like it just seems like if they pull that off somehow, if they pull off Emily Blunt and John Krasinski for the Fantastic Four.
I mean, so you can go on Twitter, Instagram, whatever. It's like there's so much fan art. Like I'll go into the comments and be like, "Oh, who do you want to play?" Like it'll be something like, "Who do you want to play the Fantastic Four?"
Right.
It's always John Krasinski, Emily Blunt. Like I'm like. And I know they'd want to do it.
This is why it makes sense. Earlier, when Marvel was first starting off, it wasn't what it is now. Now, it's like, it's the big money maker. Like,
oh yeah,
there's people out there, like Oscar caliber actors, who probably want to do a Marvel movie for the money.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like Jake Gyllenhaal, I mean,
oh yeah,
he got paid like $50 million to do Mysterio.
Oh my god!
And he's used to doing indie films that barely make $20 million at the box office.
Yeah.
So I feel like every actor kind of is just like eventually they want to get that big payday,
Mm-hmm.
and it just makes sense for them. I mean, God, dude, they're married. Think about them each getting like $20 million checks from Marvel Studios.
Yeah, I think
I hate to think business wise.
Yeah.
But like that's part of it too.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's always a thing with it.
And I don't know. I feel like they're at the point in their careers where it just makes sense for them to do something.
Especially,
like this.
I think it would be so cool of them to be like, hey, this is like them kind of coming back into the whole Marvel Studios thing, and just like think about how good like their chemistry would be, like in terms of their characters.
They put out a video today. I'm not sure if you saw it. It was like one of those Omaze, like auction type things.
Okay, I didn't see it, but I know what you're talking about.
So they put out one, and it's hilarious. It's like a minute long clip, and they're talking. So you can win a double date with them. So you bring another guest, and then you go on a double date with them, and they're freaking hilarious. And I'm just like, their banter between each other is like perfect.
God.
And I'm just like, we need this. Like, we need to see like,
they're really dynamic actors too.
Yes.
I mean, if you've ever seen A Quiet Place.
Yeah. Which part 2 is coming up pretty
Oh
soon.
my god, I'm so excited.
That.
Yeah, dude. Oh yeah. Like they're they play a married couple in that, and they're like, I mean, you feel their relationship because they are truly in a relationship.
Yep.
And it's like it's the same thing with Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone when they were dating.
Yes.
And that's why like nothing beats the chemistry between two characters more than two actors who are actually in love.
Yeah.
So, Marvel, you got to do it, man. You got to do it. I just want to see. Oh God, I want to see them so bad as the Fantastic Four. If anybody else gets casted, I'm actually gonna cry. Like I don't want to get I don't want to get too like excited, but I'm like,
same.
Like it's all I can see.
You were talking about it, and as you're just like talking about it, I'm smiling over here, but I'm telling myself, I'm like, calm down.
It's like
it's probably gonna be some stupid side character or like a villain for one movie. But
that's the worst thing is when an actor gets cast as either a one-off villain or a stupid side character.
She's gonna be like, this is the worst. This is the worst possible scenario. She gets cast as a villain for Captain Marvel 2, and it's a one-off, and then it's just that's it.
Oh, that would be the worst.
That would be the worst possible scenario.
Oh man!
If that happens, we're gonna have to go back.
You know what would be even worse though? Or not worse, but like would suck is if John Krasinski get cast as Mr. Fantastic, but Emily Blunt wasn't.
Oh, that'd break my heart.
Like it's just too like, come on.
I can't even see like it's so ingrained in my brain. Together. It's like so ingrained in my brain just because of all the fan art and stuff that like I can't see like, anybody else.
There's so much fan art. There's so much support behind it, and like. If they were gonna be in the Marvel movies at some point, like I can see them like they would want to do it again, and like you said. Big money.
It just makes sense right now.
Yeah. They're Marvel's first family, too.
You got John Krasinski, and he's a rising director, and maybe he still wants to
I would love for
like
him
that.
to direct a Fantastic Four movie.
That's a lot. I mean, that's a lot
true.
to put on somebody to direct and star in a Marvel movie.
I don't know.
I don't, it would hurt me if there was like, and then there's like creative differences.
Creative differences with the director, but he's still the lead actor. Yeah. He's just standing there.
Emily
like
Blunt drops out, and she's like, creative differences from
God.
the director. She's like, I love all my cast, but the director sucks.
They go and sleep in the same bed together, and they're like, okay. Yeah, I don't know. So I guess we're just cautiously optimistic, and I hope it's true.
We're going to speak it into existence.
Yeah, I gotta hope. So yeah, that's all for the Marvel stuff. We talked about pretty much everything on the list. So let's move on to let's talk about this this one thing that it wasn't huge in terms of news, but it's super interesting to look back on, especially in terms of like the current Star Wars show climate, I guess. And that there was it didn't surface because apparently it's been online for 9 years.
Blows my mind.
But it's that some test footage for the original Star Wars show, Star Wars Underworld, kind of surfaced. Like it wasn't like a full episode or anything like that, but it's purely just what they could pull off with that small of a budget and make it look like Star Wars. And yeah, it's really interesting. Like it's just interesting to see because like the history of that show was that like in 2005, George Lucas like announced they were working on a show.
Yeah.
And it had been in development for a long time, and they were trying to like iron out all the details and like make the budget work.
It sounds like the budget was the main problem.
Yeah, because back then, I mean, it cost so much to make those movies.
Like I said, times are different now. Like you're looking for a cable network budget versus, hey Netflix, we have this idea. Mm-hmm. They fund it, and now you have
and it happens.
Yeah,
I mean, it's crazy.
It's so different now.
But from what you can see, though, like. It doesn't look bad. Like no. I mean, it definitely looks like a TV show.
I thought like it kind of just like gave me this Blade Runner, Star Wars mashup vibes.
It's like kind of like the underworld of Coruscant.
I
think
thought
Attack of the
cool,
Clones.
Actually, like I thought it looked pretty cool.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Yeah. I mean, there's not really any plot to it, but like with what they were using, it was pretty much all green screen and like with like real actors and costumes and props and stuff. And I'll
say this. I'm happy that the show did not get made. And that's probably like against what most people would think.
Yeah.
I just don't think it was the right time period for something like that.
No.
I think now we're at, with streaming and high budget television, now is the time to do something like that.
Yep.
Which, by the way, have you seen like the making of The Mandalorian? Like how they actually filmed that?
I've seen some images and stuff, but not really.
It's
not a whole lot.
green screen. It's like they actually went out and shot they shot footage of these like scenery, and then they have this giant. They're kind of like in this dome looking thing where there's like this giant projector that goes around in a circle.
Oh.
And they're filming like real images behind them, because I always thought it looked like from the first episode of The Mandalorian. I was like, the background looks interesting because it doesn't have that green screen feel to it.
Yeah.
So it kind of sets like these environments that are like actually captured by cameras. They're just not.
Yeah.
I don't know. So there's not a green screen behind them. They film it with actual images going behind.
I've
them
seen
and
that
moving
though.
with them.
Yeah. I've seen in like behind the scenes, not for The Mandalorian, but just for these new filmmaking techniques where they do that, where they use those projectors to make it seem like they're in a simulated environment without it being green screen.
It looks cool.
Yeah, it looks really neat.
When they're shooting it,
I need to look it up.
I'm like, how do you? I can't even wrap my head around making a film anymore.
Yeah,
it just blows my mind how they pull it off.
It's crazy, like how many new techniques have been implemented, and how much like Star Wars has catapulted filmmaking.
For sure.
I mean, I think without Star Wars from the get-go, we would not be in like the filmmaking place we would be today. Like it's such they revolutionized so much.
Absolutely.
If you haven't seen it, if you have Disney Plus, watch the documentary An Empire of Dreams. Like it's the making of Star Wars.
So good.
Probably my favorite documentary because I'm a Star Wars freak. What can I say? But it's so like it's so fascinating seeing the history of George Lucas and the history of ILM and these guys like trying to figure out how to make things work with
you can see them like
miniatures and everything.
It actually is a really inspiring story because you see the struggle. Like
they're
freaking struggling the whole time trying to get the first film made. You know, there was so many issues, and it really wasn't until they showed it to audiences that they were like, "Oh, we actually do have something." Because like going into it, like people hated the test screenings and stuff like that. So it's really inspiring.
Yeah, it's just inspiring in general for like not even just filmmaking, but like whatever you're doing, because it's like they were like, I mean, George Lucas was literally put in the hospital because there was so much stress, like, which is insane.
Yep.
But like that's how much it took for that movie, and it was like it should have failed, but it didn't, and so it's kind of like but whether depending on your perspective, but I mean it's a little happy-go-lucky, but I mean like it's a real tangible like inspiring story.
It's about sticking to the process, getting through the bad times, and like really just putting in the work. Yeah, just really cool. But back to the show. I think that time period, like 2010s, just wasn't really the right time period for a show like that.
Yeah, it was just too early.
And we probably would have been like, this is garbage. Like, or
Maybe
not. Maybe we would have just like overlooked all the flaws. But I could tell like there would have been some sort of flaws in this.
Knowing Star Wars fans, that we would not have looked over the flaws. In fact, they probably would have torn them to shreds, because I went to the chiropractor today because I go there like once a month, and he always asks about like how we do this podcast and everything, and so he's always like, I'm the go-to Marvel, DC nerd guy, Star Wars, whatever. And he was like, so what's like what did people were saying about the new Star Wars movie? Because I guess he hasn't seen it yet. And he's not like a diehard fan or anything. And I'm like, well, it's the worst movie. It's the worst movie on Rotten Tomatoes. And he's like, oh, but I don't trust that. Like I don't like that. Because I'm like, yeah, I don't like Rotten Tomatoes either. And I'm like, because I think the movie's fantastic. And I was just telling him about like, people don't know about this, like how Star Wars fans really are. And like how just polluted it is, I guess. Like it's just so toxic, and like people just tear each other to shreds. And so stupid. So like if that had come out back then, I mean, like there's a guy I'm subscribed to, which how I found out about this test footage. His name is Hello Greedo. Totally check him out. He's one of the best Star Wars YouTubers out there. Yeah, a very respectful guy. He has his own unique opinions, but like he's proud of those, but at the same time does not tear down anyone, and he's super respectful, awesome guy. Yeah. And he often will go back and look at these like historical analysis of like when the original Star Wars movies came out and like the reactions back then. Yeah. Or like when Clone Wars first came out and people just hated Ahsoka, or when the prequels first came out, and like, dude, when the Phantom Menace first came out, people freaking loved that movie. And like people thought it was better than Return of the Jedi.
I think it's weird, but Star Wars, it goes through phases. Like it starts with like, this is amazing, to, oh, this is actually really bad. And then it goes to like this, okay, I actually appreciate this for what it did. Like, it goes through these weird phases.
It's the legacy of Star Wars.
Yeah.
That, you know,
it's like poetry.
Yeah, it's like poetry. It rhymes.
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
what it is.
Or like what Luke says is like the legacy of Jedi is failure, and like the legacy of Star Wars is failure.
Yeah,
like,
it really is.
It's like I mean, it's just like how it is. Like, I mean, nothing will ever. Like, you just have to accept that like nothing will ever get as good as the original trilogy, and that's because like it is nostalgia.
Yeah.
And like that's nostalgia blinds so many people, and like that's just kind of what Star Wars is it incorporates like nostalgia into your feelings.
It
but
does.
like, I mean, granted, I'm not saying like Star Wars is like the worst franchise ever that everybody loves. Like it's iconic, but so had this Underworld show come out, like I thought it looked pretty good, and I would have given it the benefit of the doubt. Well, had it come out back then, I would have been like, you know. But like now, I would have been like, well, yeah, it's got a lower budget and stuff. But now we have the Mandalorian, and we're getting Cassian Andor.
I think we're hitting kind of like that peak time where we.
This was the time.
Back 30 years from now, we're gonna look back on how like content producing and content consumption has just been changed completely.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're kind of hitting that stride right now.
Yep.
So, like you said, Mandalorian coming out is like that right time period. But I would like to see the Mandalorian, like the planet, like Coruscant, like that
whole
that
like
Blade Runner looking
that
vibe.
Blade Runner look.
I was like
cyberpunky.
Yeah, I was like, I would like to actually see like the Mandalorian.
Oh yeah.
Go through something like that.
That's how I kind of get the feeling that like the Boba Fett movie would have been and stuff. Would have been very like if the most like distinct comparison is like in Attack of the Clones when they're chasing Zam Wesell, the female shapeshifter bounty hunter, and like when he's like, you know, the huge skyscrapers and them down on the ground, like that's what that is. Or cool. Any episodes of Clone Wars that take place in like the underworld of Coruscant, like that's what that is. And that's personally, that's my favorite like feel of Star Wars. It's kind of like that gritty, like it's dark and in just like the, I don't know, like in the shadows, it's like it's been like, but these neon lights and stuff. Maybe that's why I like Blade Runner so much. But even though that's like not, it's a lot different. It's like it's a different type. I really like the genre of cyberpunk. Yeah. So like, and that's what's kind of cool with Star Wars is like has so many subgenres underneath it. So this Underworld show would have been definitely different. But I think it's just cool to look back on.
Yeah, I think it is too.
Anyway, one last news piece. And before we wrap up the show, and that is, so this week, Birds of Prey comes out Friday. We need to make plans to when we're going to go see that, I guess.
What do you want to see that on, Thursday or Friday?
I'm going to hit up some friends and see if they want to come see it with us. Maybe Thursday night. We'll see. Anyway, so initial reactions, I think there was the premiere last week, or there was just early screenings, something like that. Whatever.
Right after we posted the episode, people were talking about it.
Yeah. So. And surprisingly, really positive reactions. Like I've seen like no negative reactions.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, I am too. Like, which I mean, I'm kind of glad to be shocked because in the sense I'm like, because remember when Suicide Squad came out, like it was not good.
No.
Like there was some people that were like that liked it, but most people were like no.
I feel like the people who liked it were also the people that liked Batman vs. Superman and were just trying to defend.
What are you trying to say?
They're just trying to defend the DCEU as a whole.
Batman vs. Superman's great. I'm kidding. It's just the ultimate cut.
It's good. But
no, it's good. It's
good.
Yeah. But I know what you're saying.
Yeah, it's shocking. I think if it's as good as everybody's saying, then their marketing has failed me. Because I'm like, I feel like I'm just looking at Suicide Squad trailers. Yep. Like it's very incoherent. A lot of crap's just going on, and then I hear people talking about like, oh, this is like John Wick level action, and I'm like, where's that in the trailer? Yeah. Because I haven't seen anything like that.
Yeah, dude,
at all.
I hope it's that good.
Me too.
Because God knows we love John
Wick.
Now
it could be one of these things where it's so rated R that they can't show a lot of things in the
possibly.
trailer.
The only thing that I've seen leading towards it is like there's a fight scene in some like roller skate rink, and it looks all right.
Okay,
like,
if that's what people are referring to as John Wick level action, I'm be like,
did you see John Wick?
I'm like, this is nothing compared to John Wick.
Dude, I was listening.
The camera's steady. That's the only thing that's like close to.
John Wick has to be like fast and like in your face.
Yeah, it's like very well choreographed.
But I mean, wasn't it that news though that like the the director for John Wick, he came in for.
I think so. Yeah.
Remember we talked about that?
Yeah. He kind of like
he came in to be
on
like
the
consulting
action.
for like reshoots for some of the action
Yeah,
and stuff
'cause I
like
remember
that. So maybe that adds up.
He did it with Civil War too.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
He helped
God,
out
what
with
a-
some of the
yeah,
action.
what- I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Chad Stahelski.
Yeah, Stahelski.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, I love that guy.
Yeah.
He
I
was
think he did Atomic Blonde too.
Man, he's on a roll.
Or
Lately,
one of the directors.
Yeah,
What's the other guy's name? I can't even remember.
I don't remember. I think there was 2 directors.
There was for the first one.
For the first one, yeah. Chad Stahelski, he was the stunt double for Keanu Reeves in The Matrix.
Yeah.
That's how he got his whole thing. So he's a stunt man
They
at heart.
appreciate real action.
Yeah, I love that. There really needs to be. I'm a big Corridor fan. If anybody watches them on YouTube, and the reason I love them is because they have this series on their second channel called Corridor Crew.
Yeah.
And they always are like breaking down either CGI or special effects. But my favorite ones are when they are when they get a guy on the stunt ones.
Yep.
So there's one guy that they get on there. I believe his name is Guy, and he's like, I don't remember his last name, but he's done so much like stunt. Like he was the stunt guy for Black Panther, and he was in Guardians, like a ton of the Marvel movies and stuff.
Yeah.
And so you get a real appreciation for action, and I think there needs to be like an Oscar, not like a demographic for like stunts, because stuntmen, dude, they do like insane amount of work. Like he helped for the elevator fight scene in Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Which is one of my favorite fight scenes. Like, God, I love that one.
That's awesome.
And so like it honestly has inspired me. I'm like, being a stuntman would be kind of awesome.
It's like, it's hard work and you're constantly getting beat up all the time.
Oh, I mean, you're probably like, it's broken bones and ribs and stuff.
I think, I could be wrong, but I think Charlize Theron actually like broke like
some guy's nose or something like that, or arm.
She hurt somebody filming Atomic Blonde.
Yeah.
She like broke somebody's bones. I don't remember the full story, but
God dang, Charlize.
I know, like calm down.
Yeah, it happens all the time though. Like they'll accidentally punch them and they're like, God, no, we're good, and they have like black eyes and stuff. They're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like you're watching this and they have to do it for the take, but yeah, it's pretty cool to see. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, Birds of Prey. And so yeah, has this raised your like excitement for it now? Really?
Not really.
Mine's probably like, so on a 1 to 10, I was initially probably like a 3.
Okay, me too.
Now it's probably like a 6.5.
Oh wow,
like I'm like
you really got a bump.
Still like I'm still not like like whoa, but I'm like, all right, like I'm actually genuinely excited to see this movie.
Yeah, I mean, like I've just kind of learned
anticipatory.
I don't know, like the critics just don't really sway me anymore, and they used to when like
critics suck.
I don't know.
They kind of though. Like
I always go back to The Last Jedi and how I had like almost 100% Rotten Tomatoes and everybody loved it. And I'm like, I think since then I was like, I don't really care anymore, like what people are saying. Unless like there's a few like reviewers out there who I tend to agree with more often than not. So when they put out a review for something, I'm like, okay, that does raise my level of interest.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm getting reviews from people on Twitter that I've never seen before in my life saying it was a great movie. And I'm like, I have no idea what this person's about, what other movies they like.
Yeah.
So it's like tough for me to say, but I'll say that I'm probably going into it with a more open mind.
Yeah. That's probably the best way to put it. I don't know if mine, yeah. It's just like, I think there's definitely going to be something to enjoy, because I think the best praises were like obviously the John Wick style action.
Yeah.
But also, they said that Ewan McGregor is fantastic in the movie.
I've heard that too.
God bless the guy. I love him. So I'm really excited for that. Also, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, they said there's like, she is amazing as Huntress and like they don't get enough of her. And I'm like,
oh really?
Yeah. I've been hearing some like that, like she's not in the movie enough and that she's
that
like,
bums me
she's
out.
a standout.
Yeah. That's the one person I was kind of like looking forward to.
Dude, if she's good though, I'd be happy with her own movie, because because I just love her as an actress.
Me too.
God, I want to watch
Same
10
here.
Cloverfield Lane. I just want to watch so many movies and I have to go freaking do grammar homework after this. Awesome. Maybe I'll just buy the answers from somebody. Take that out. I'm just kidding. It doesn't matter. My teachers are not
Insert
listening.
applause.
The answers are in the back of the book. Whatever. Anyway. Yeah. Birds of Prey. Well, I guess
next episode we'll be reviewing it.
Yeah, we'll be our review. I don't know if we'll do a full episode dedicated to it. Depends on how much we hate or love it.
Let's do this while we're on the episode, so that you guys can hold us accountable.
Yes.
Let's find some time. I won't drive down here, but we'll find some time to do it over the internet, like
Yeah,
a 20
yeah.
minute review.
Yeah,
at some
over the
point in
weekend.
time, probably like Friday or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds good. And then we'll probably do a regular episode after
Yes.
that or something like that.
For
So,
sure.
Yeah. Well, that should do it for this episode of Comic Blast. The 1-year anniversary episode is completed.
Yeah.
And hopefully many more years.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Thank you guys. I mean, yeah, people listening to it is the reason why we've done it for a year.
Yeah. No, we really appreciate the support. I'm doing it again. I'm looking out to the invisible audience. Clap, audience.
Come on down.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. But no, it really means a lot to us. And it's been like, it's really inspired me lately that I'm just like, because it felt like we were stuck for so long. And so any new listeners that have joined on, we are glad you're here and we hope you stick around.
For sure.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say other than, social media, of course, Comic Blast _. I didn't even say that at the beginning. Social
did.
media.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
No, you didn't.
I said Patreon.
Yeah, shoot.
So yeah, obviously our social media, Comic Blast _ both Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah.
That's where you can find like the giveaways and things like that. We are doing that giveaway for the Rise of Skywalker Steelbook next month, so keep an eye out for that.
Yep.
And our personal social medias. Mine is Schradester25 on Instagram and at Schradester8 on Twitter. Yours is at Keenan Creates.
Yes.
It is Keenan, not Kiernan, by the way. I had somebody at school be like, "Oh yeah, you and Kiernan," and I'm like, "His name is not Kiernan.
It's a pretty cool
it is
name. I'll take it.
Yeah, but Keenan.
Kiernan. It's better than Keegan. Sometimes
Oh,
I
do
tell
people
people
get-
my name and they're like, Keegan? And I'm like,
Nope. Keegan Michael Key.
and then sometimes like I just let it slide and then it's like a week later and I'm like, I can't change it now. Like I can't tell them now.
So I'm just
But,
Keegan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's some clarification.
You're still looking at the invisible audience.
I love them. They're my people. I see dead people.
That's so weird. You hear the sirens?
Yeah, dude. Oh my god.
When you said that, I heard sirens outside.
Oh my
Okay.
god, I have a gift.
They're coming.
Sirens on our end. Okay. Anyway, I think that should do it. Yeah, did I leave anything else out?